You're listening to episode 347 of the Membership Geeks podcast. Wouldn't you love to be able to predict when your members were most likely to leave your membership? And more importantly, how you could potentially prevent them from actually doing so? Well, that's what we're talking about on today's show.
You're listening to the Membership Geeks podcast, bringing you proven practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business each and every week. And now here are your hosts, Mike Morrison and Callie Willows.
Well, hello there. Thank you for joining us this week for another episode of the Membership Geeks podcast, the number one podcast for membership site owners. If this is your first time listening to the show, make sure you hit that subscribe button in whatever app it is you use to listen to your podcasts. And if you're a long-time listener, you're already subscribed, we just want to say, as always, we love you, we appreciate you, thank you so much for every millisecond of attention that you give to us. If you have a minute or two to spare, we would so be thankful if you could take a second to leave a nice, shiny 5-star review. We don't ask much, do we, Callie?
Not at all.
5-star review for us in your podcast app to let us know, first of all, what you enjoy about the show. We always love to hear your feedback, but also how the show has helped you in your membership. All these reviews, they help us to reach even more people, to make even more of a difference, and to help more membership owners just like you to become successful. And today's episode is definitely one that will help you to do that. Now, what is it most membership site owners fear, Callie?
It's got to be cancellations.
It's got to be, right? That wasn't rehearsed or staged in any way. Of course it's cancellations. Otherwise, if you've given a different answer, this whole episode will be out of the window.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, but my brain wasn't working fast enough.
We know that humour isn't in your wheelhouse. No, cancellations are without doubt the big bad boogeyman of the membership world. So many membership owners live and run their business in total fear. And if that's you, here's a little secret. You're not alone. Even your friendly neighborhood membership geeks, we face this fear with you. No one likes cancellations, but the truth is, cancellations are inevitable. They're simply part and parcel of running a membership business. Now, there are strategies that you can put into place to reduce the number of cancellations, to bring your churn down, nurturing and engaging your member base, solid retention processes and strategies. So many different little things and measures you can put into place that will slow your cancellation rate down. But don't kid yourself. Cancellations are still going to happen. As membership owners, that's just something we have to accept, and we very much advocate for making sure that you handle those cancellations gracefully and in a positive manner so you're not burning bridges with people who could very easily come back and rejoin the site in the future. Now, sometimes the reasons for cancellation are beyond your control, and often they're beyond the control of your members. Life happens, but it's important to know that there are also some predictable drop-off points that you'll find quite often in memberships that you can identify ahead of time.
So what do we mean by a drop-off point? Well, this is a point at which you have a higher number of people leaving your membership for the same reasons than you would typically have on a day-to-day basis. But please don't despair. Let us shed some light on the types of drop-off points you may encounter and the ways in which you can mitigate this risk and minimize the number of cancellations. We've grouped the drop-off points into 5 distinct categories. And the first is the initial exit opportunity. So this is the point during the initial joining period when someone first signs up to your membership site, when they log in for the first time and spend the next 24 to 48 hours exploring the material and resources. They're evaluating your site in that time. Does it match their expectations? Do they get value for the money they've spent? Have they made the right decision in joining? If the answer is no to those questions, then they may make the decision to leave your community. If you have a trial period for new members, then obviously the end date of that trial is the trigger for this initial exit drop-off point. The same applies to a refund period or money-back guarantee period or the end of the billing cycle date. So within the first month when someone joins your site, you will see several different points that can form a common drop-off point, a time when you lose a lot more members than normal. You need to ensure that you have a strong onboarding process in place and that you're creating a great first impression in order to make sure that you're minimizing the number of members who drop off during this initial period. You don't want people joining and then turning around and looking for the exit.
Absolutely. So that first 14 to 30 days, however long it is, particularly if you have a monthly billing membership site, that initial exit opportunity, that first joining window where that evaluation is happening, that is definitely one of the main drop-off points. And that's why we emphasize the importance of member onboarding, getting people off to the right possible start so that they're far less likely to leave during that initial period. So this does largely apply to monthly memberships in particular. When we talk about that initial exit opportunity, it's basically the first time, the point at which someone's first commitment essentially ends. The first month that they paid for is done. The trial that they've signed up for is done. The refund window comes to an end. But for memberships that have longer billing cycles, annual, 6 monthly, quarterly, the renewal times for those types of memberships, they're also really, really big drop-off points. If someone joins for 12 months and their 12 months is coming to an end, they've got a big decision to make. Deciding to continue a monthly subscription, it's a small decision, month to month. And quite often, while this isn't something you want to rely on, quite often people don't think about that decision of whether to keep going every month. They don't get to the end of month one and think, am I staying? Am I staying? Am I staying? But with an annual membership, for example, they do. It's a much bigger reinvestment than a monthly membership. And so it's a much bigger decision. You'll likely see more cancellations during these renewal periods. And so you need to have a separate, specific retention strategy in place to maximize the number of annual renewals. Or quarterly, 6 monthly, you do have those shorter billing cycles that are still large enough to prompt that kind of decision-making process. But typically, you'll see it most with annuals. Having a separate annual renewal strategy in place will really help you to reduce the potential loss of members who are coming up to their 1-year anniversary. So that's the second drop-off opportunity, annual renewals. The third would be the end of a drip-fed or a scheduled series of content. Now, for anyone unfamiliar with the term drip feeding, it's basically where you have sequential release of content. So let's just say you have one big signature course or a series or a grouping of content. That is your star attraction in your membership. It's what a lot of people join your membership for. You might decide to release that content one part at a time over, say, a 12-week period. Now, naturally, once the 12 weeks are over, then people who only join for that specific content, they'll have gotten everything that they originally were motivated to join your membership for. And so, naturally, you will start to see them dropping off at a higher rate than the sort of cancellations you'll be seeing on a day-to-day basis on average. Even if you've got a thriving community and other great resources and courses and training in your membership, there will always be those people who just join for that flagship piece of content. If it's something you're drip feeding, chances are it's a big, epic bit of content. And if it's so great, it will attract people who are only interested in that and nothing else your membership offers. So once they've had everything, once that drip feed schedule is done, those people will consume that material and then leave. So you need to ensure you have a retention system in place for that scenario too.
Yeah, and I think a great thing with that is making use of that onboarding to actually get people invested in the other aspects of your membership site that they maybe haven't joined for or haven't even known about when they joined, but that's what then keeps them around month after month on an ongoing basis.
Definitely. If you've got that signature course or signature program, some people can get such tunnel vision over that being the thing they're joining for that they just don't realize that there's a whole wonderful membership there with supporting materials, or that there's things in place to help them go beyond where that course actually gets them to. So as Callie said, using your onboarding processes to educate people and inform them about what else your membership offers and to get them involved, to get them along to live calls, to get them looking in other parts of your membership, that can really help minimize the drop-off when you have a drip-fed or a sequential release to some sort of signature program in your membership.
Yes, and drop-off point number 4 is seasonal drop-offs. So Christmas is a common example here. So it's a common time to see a loss of members purely for financial reasons. They might have more that they're spending their money on, or it might just be for time-based reasons. They know that they're going to be spending time with family and not in your membership. In a similar way, New Year's can also have the same impact on your cancellation volume. It's a common time for people to readdress their expenses, to look at where their money's going, as well as to reconsider their goals for the following year and what they're wanting to focus on. And your membership might not fit with that. During the summer months, on the other hand, more people are away on vacation or spending more time outside. That means they're not inclined to sit in front of the computer and consume your content. This is another reason why people can drift away from your membership site. It's important to identify these patterns and be proactive in preventing seasonal drop-offs in your own membership base so that they're accounted for when you put tactics in place to improve your member retention. And it may take you the first year of running your membership to actually see what these are for you. It may be that you actually have the perfect membership site for people to take advantage of during the summer or during the holidays. So these may not apply for you, but you may have different periods where you notice a lull in your membership.
Absolutely. In some sort of memberships, New Year will be the best possible time, because if you have a lot of people making new resolutions to lose weight, to learn a new skill, then actually you might see a reinvigoration of your member base. But it's important to see where these patterns are, to see how the seasonality does affect your membership site, and to take action to actually engage people at the right times. If you have a weight loss or a hobby or a skill-based membership, run a promotion, run an awareness campaign amongst your member base to actually give them that little bit of the kick up the butt in the new year to get them on track. If you know people lose interest during Christmas, do something that's a little more lighthearted, that they don't have to pay really serious in-depth attention to. Identifying these patterns around seasons and making sure that you're adapting the way you engage with your members is a big way to preventing drop-off during those times. Certain topics also have common drop-off periods too. So for example, memberships that cater towards people in the education sector. So that could be memberships for teachers. It might be memberships for students. So you get memberships that help people to apply to certain colleges and so on. These obviously are impacted a lot by the academic calendar as well. And so if you have a membership for teachers, you might see a drop-off at the end of the school year. If you have a membership that helps people to apply for colleges or to pass certain exams, then obviously once the windows in which that topic is relevant get closed, which will happen at certain times of the year, that's going to affect your member drop-off too. In the B2B market, things like the end of the tax year or the end of budgeting periods and so on, they can trigger drop-offs as well. And even things like sports-based memberships. So let's say you've got a membership for skiing enthusiasts. Again, that's something that has a set season. So there are set times of year where people will be more interested and less interested, or more likely to be able to actually engage in the topic, and then times where it's just off the table. All of these things can affect your drop-off period. So it's definitely worth monitoring the performance of your membership. Sometimes it can be counterintuitive. You might find that actually teachers are more likely to want to be in your membership during the school holidays because that's when they get to prepare and do more work, right? But monitoring the performance of your membership, identifying the patterns we talked about, and having that awareness of the academic calendar, of any sort of likely predictable seasonality to the topic itself, that's going to go a long way.
By identifying your common core drop-off periods, then you can make sure that you're taking advantage of this information by tailoring your communications or releasing unexpected bonus content that your members were not expecting. There's a lot of ways that you can counteract these drop-off periods. This will hopefully keep members engaged and invested for a little bit longer, giving you the time to re-engage with them, reactivate them, and prolong the member life cycle. Identifying patterns is the remedy to cancellations. Preempting the drop-offs means knowing the drop-off patterns and knowing what is in the pipeline. It could be part of an automated sequence to woo your existing members when renewal time is coming up. Or it could mean scheduling a one-off campaign with extra bonus material that will entice your member to stay longer during the holiday season. It's important to map this stuff out and to know where your points of weakness are in terms of holding on to your members. If you do that, you'll find that your member retention improves, your community grows, and it will naturally, organically prolong your member life cycle. So hopefully this episode has given you the nudge you need to take a look at your audience and site statistics to help you predict the common drop-off periods for your membership site. This will inform your engagement and retention strategies that will keep your members around for longer.
Absolutely. That understanding of your topic, the identification of patterns, and making sure that you're not just thinking about getting members in through the door. You're thinking about the long term of what they will experience, of the points at which they might be made or forced or nudged or influenced to reconsider whether they are going to stay in your membership. Thinking beyond the sale, identifying those drop-off patterns, that is going to really, really help you retain more members for months and years to come. That's it for us for this week. Hopefully you found today's episode useful. Hopefully it's helped you identify a few things that you've not previously thought about, that you've not considered, and more importantly, to take action to preempt, to predict, and hopefully prevent some of these common drop-off points. That is it from us. We'll be back again next week with another episode of the Membership Geeks podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Geeks podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. Membership Academy is the original membership about memberships, and it's the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a successful online membership business. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be and you need some help making it a reality, or whether your website is already up and running and you're looking for ways to grow and attract new members, then Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. Not only do you get access to our step-by-step membership roadmap, our extensive training library, and exclusive member-only discount and tools, you'll also become part of our supportive, active community of membership owners that will help you along the way in your journey with feedback, encouragement, and advice. All of this and more make Membership Academy the #1 place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out and join the community at membershipacademy.com.